You know, a lot has changed over the last few years when it comes to the family vehicle market. We've seen the rise and the fall of the minivan because they're just not considered cool. We've seen sales of SUVs erode because of high gas prices, and now we're starting to see the emergence of crossovers.
Now, crossover vehicles reduce the weight of the vehicle, so they have much more efficient engines. And you have to admit, they look a lot cooler than a van, and they offer just as much utility.
Now here's a perfect example of a vehicle that ticks off many boxes for a family. It has the utility, it could replace a minivan, it has a more efficient engine, and it looks cool.
Really? You think it looks cool?
Yeah.
You know what, Zach? I have to disagree with you. It doesn't appeal to me at all.
That's the whole point. It might not appeal to everyone, but people who like it, like me, are likely to be drawn to the uniqueness of the Flex. It's a 6 or 7 passenger large crossover aimed at the same market as the GMC Acadia or Buick Enclave.
The styling just doesn't appeal to me. The white roof, the boxy shape, I don't know, it kind of looks like a big mini Clubman, or should we say a maxi Clubman.
I think the unique styling features are what will sell the Flex. The front hood is wide and flat, along with the bar grille and square headlights remind me of the Range Rover Sport. The grooves down the door, polished rear liftgate, and silver or white roof bring back a look of beach cruisers from the California surf era. Ford goes big with either 18 or 19-inch wheels and plenty of flashes of chrome against the blacked out windows. I like it.
This is one of the nicest interiors that we've seen from Ford. You can really tell that they're trying to make some improvements with soft plastic and vinyl and some really great chrome and silver accents, and a very bright center console say that this Flex isn't cheap. Far from it. The room on the inside is wonderful, and the comfort of the seats is marvelous. The second row can be ordered as a bench for seating for 7 or with the captain's chairs to seat 6. The rear legroom is ample. It's just like riding business class. The second row flips forward, or when equipped, they tumble forward automatically. The third row of seats offers good space, and they fold flat into the floor just like a minivan. When the seats are up, they provide a large storage area on the floor. You can get the Flex with a multi-panel moonroof in the back or a conventional sunroof in the front. There's also a very cool ambient lighting option that allows you to dial in up to 7 colors.
Even on the base model, the front seats are heated with height adjustment. The steering wheel has radio controls and a tilt feature, but no telescopic option. One option you might want to get is the power adjustable pedals. The stereo has MP3 capability and a 10 gig memory. The Flex can be ordered with navigation, backup camera, power liftgate, and the Sync entertainment system. To see all the options, have a look at our website. Now, Lacey, I know you're not a big fan of the way this thing looks, but I guarantee you're going to like the way it drives because it's a stretched version of the Taurus X platform. We drove the Taurus X last year on the show, and both of us loved it.
I'll be the judge of that. Zach's right. We both really enjoyed driving the Taurus X last year. In fact, we said it was one of the best crossovers we'd driven. Our only complaint was that the styling was a little bit bland. Now the Ford Flex is anything but bland. This Flex and the Taurus X are both built up from the platform based on the Volvo S80, so the ride is pretty sophisticated. Ford claims that this is one of the quietest vehicles that they've ever engineered, quieter than many of the competition. Quiet, for many people, relates to quality, so this new Flex has the impression of quality. The Ford Flex is available in 2 trim levels. There's the SEL and the Limited, and both of them can be ordered with either front wheel or all-wheel drive. Now, either way, all Ford Flex vehicles have a towing capacity of 4,500 pounds, which isn't too much for a crossover, but it's not too bad either. The first thing that really jumped out at me when I first got behind the wheel of the Flex was just how comfortable the seats are. And not just for the driver, but for the passenger as well. I think this is going to be a fantastic family vehicle, especially if you take a lot of road trips. It's very comfortable, quiet, and there's tons of space.
Now, the engine powering all the Ford Flexes is a 3.5-liter V6. It's the same V6 that's found in the Ford Edge, and it has 262 horsepower. That's pretty good for getting up and moving around town. It does a pretty good job, and I'd call it adequate and just okay for passing on the highway. Now, this thing looks like a beach cruiser, and that really is the best way to drive it. You just cruise along with the beautiful supple suspension and the nice big vehicle. It's very relaxing. The 6-speed automatic transmission really is velvety smooth and a good companion for that style of driving. What is remarkable is just how well this big crossover feels to the driver. It drives smaller than it looks, it handles very well for a big rig, and the quality of the ride is very supple and luxurious, yet it still delivers good feedback to the driver. If I were on a long road trip, the Flex would be a worthy companion. Now, if you're somebody that's looking at the GMC Acadia, the Saturn Outlook, or even that luxurious Buick Enclave, this is now an option from Ford. It's very big, it has lots of use inside for all the people that are riding in it, but you really can't overstate the ride. It is so smooth and sophisticated and quiet, and Lacey touched on that. When you take all of that and you match it to the newly updated interior with the finer materials, it's the kind of vehicle you don't want to get out of in a hurry.
The base Flex starts at just under $35,000, which is only $2,000 more than the Edge, and it's only $1,000 more than the Taurus X. And if you want to get the fully loaded version like we have here, it's going to cost you around $50,000. Now, Zach, I can already tell that you like it.
And I like it because I think it has a unique style that there's really nothing else like it on the road, and it offers all kinds of utility. What I really like about it is the way it drives. It has a sophisticated ride that's very luxurious. Also, the interior is so much better than anything we've seen from Ford before, and now competes with many import cars. And I think the price, as you just mentioned, is right on the money. For $1,000 more than the Taurus X, for example, you get a bigger vehicle, more space, and I think really good value there. On the downside, as much space as this vehicle offers, 6 or 7 passengers with lots of cargo, and that's one of the reasons that I might like it. Somebody else will just look at it and go, too big, not interested. Now, I like the styling. Over to you. I can guarantee it'll be on your dislike list. Go ahead.
Well, you know, Zach, I'm going to start with my likes. The seats are incredibly comfortable, both for the driver and all the passengers. There's tons of space and it's very usable. And it's got fantastic handling. Even though it is a bigger vehicle, it doesn't feel like one. And the interior is very quiet. On the downside, it's a little bit difficult to get into that third row of seats. And I know I've already mentioned it, but the styling just isn't for me. It is very unique and it stands out, but it's just too boxy.
You know what, Lacey? Not to worry. If you don't want the Flex, Ford would be very happy to sell you a Taurus X, one of those very handsome units.
You know, Zach, if I bought one, I think that would be the second one I'd seen on the road.
Probably.
For complete specs, go to our website at drivingtelevision.com.